We did get a photographer.
So you didn't like my portfolio?
I appreciate the submission.
More!
Lunch break! Whoa, lunch date.
Lunch date.
That's what these are called, right?
Yes, this is a lunch date. This is our second iteration of this. If you guys saw the first one with Taylor and Wes, well, first we can.
Oh yeah,
officially
can
take
we?
these off.
Okay, because of this.
Mine's really hot.
Because of this amazing thing that you built.
Yeah. So there is a shield between us. Nothing can penetrate.
It feels nice to be back in the lunch break studio.
And yep, it's just me and Phil, but we also have our guest, our +1.
Oh, we do, yes.
Who's Iris Chan. But she requested Chinese/Taiwanese food, and that's what we have here with us today.
We got some little bentos here. So yeah, like Taylor's and Wes's, you know, they got pretty deep about stuff.
The Chanwich.
Yeah.
What is this? What would this be called?
The man witch, because we're getting married. No, that's stupid.
No.
Is that our only identity here at Wong Fu now? We're just ones that are getting married.
Yeah. No. I haven't said a lot about like our wedding and our wedding planning. I feel like a lot of people keep asking, right? Are you getting that too?
We're always being asked like how things are going, especially during COVID times when there's really not much else to talk about for like people catching up, because it's not like, you know, we're taking trips or, you know, weekends are kind of like the same thing. So it's like, I feel like people ask like the same things over and over. So yes, we are getting a lot of wedding talk, and we are trying our best to make progress on it. We do have a date. I'm not gonna tell y'all just yet. You already know. But it's coming up.
I guess I can just check your calendar.
Yeah.
It's in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yours is in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were hoping that this would all kind of blow over by then, but now it's
Oh my gosh, yeah. Are you worried? Well, yours was gonna be a small wedding anyways, right?
Small wedding in the context of weddings last year, right? But now a small wedding is like 10 people.
That's true.
So
Wait, so you're actually before me then. So so you should be pretty far along.
I mean, we have the venue, we have the date.
Yeah.
And the venue is kind of like an all-inclusive kind of situation.
Okay.
So,
No, but like, do you have your photographer? I'm not available that day, I'm sorry.
but is your iPhone? We had people listed, like the vendors was gonna be like the next kind of step, you know. I do know quite a few people that would, whether or not to even go through with it, right?
Yeah.
When we were planning in February, we're like, okay, let's wait it out and see what happens like in May. Okay, let's wait it out and see what happens in July. And now like we're within 3 to 4 months of the event, so now we have to actually make these decisions.
Wait, so are you guys gonna push it?
No, we're gonna keep the date. It's just a matter of how we're gonna do it.
Got it.
Do you feel the pressure to push it?
Oh man, it's yeah, similar to what you were saying. Like when this all started, we're like, oh, there's no way it's gonna affect us. You know, like we had a ton of friends and family that pushed their summer weddings to the following year, and just to put out there, yeah, we were already looking at next year anyways, and so we're like, no, there's no way. And then now we're like, oh my gosh, it's already August. Depending on the leadership, depending on, you know, where we are as a country, it's like, are we gonna be out of this anytime soon? You know, so as of right now, we're moving ahead as planned, but still we're still moving kind of slow just because like there's just so much other work and stuff happening right now. But we did get a photographer.
So you didn't like my portfolio?
I appreciate the submission, but in, you know, real talk though, we had a ton of submissions for people that wanted to shoot our wedding and do video, and we went through like over 100 people, and it was tough, man. Like it almost started to feel like almost like a game show or like a reality show. The style of the wedding and everything, like, are you actually that particular? Because here's the thing, I didn't think I was particular. I was like going into this, I told Helen like, dude, so we're very fortunate. We have a wedding planner. Her name's Michelle. She's amazing. Y'all take the lead on it, and I'll just be around or whatever. I know this is like super like what grooms are, like the stereotype. But then like once we got into it, I was like, oh, I actually do have opinions and stuff like on the look of it and everything. And I feel like you're like that. I feel like you think you're really chill, but then like, for example, you're the type of guy that will. You've done this at events too, where you'll look at how the lights are rigged. You'll look at like how, and I know that's like on
at like an event,
right?
Or the sandbags, right?
Yeah. So I feel like when it's at your wedding, you're gonna be like, I don't know about this sound setup, and those flowers don't look like they're being, you know, those are gonna fall, you know, like it's just a more particular than you, like in terms of the style? Like, does she have a Pinterest board and all that stuff?
I think like in the beginning she did, yeah, but like have definitely been moments where like you feel like, oh, kind of losing hope a little bit with this whole event. So it's like it gets kind of sad to think about what if this just doesn't happen? Like you put in all the work and it gets canceled. So it's been a lot like these past few months just kind of thinking about that.
Right.
But like, you know, the hope is still there, and we kind of had this new spark recently thinking about how we would like kind of pull this together.
Yeah.
In terms of like being particular about stuff, like I feel like I'm more so like the schedule and the logistics. In terms of the visuals, like I trust the professionals in what they can bring. So like the event spaces, they're professional, they do this all the time. So like they're gonna know what colors look good or what linens work and all that. So
All right, cool. That says plenty. What flavored cake do you want?
we're getting raspberry champagne.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. You already know?
Yeah.
Okay, so all these other things you haven't done yet, but you know your
We
cake
have the
flavor?
menu, we have the cake.
Oh. You just wanted to get straight to the tasting. You're like, flowers,
Yeah.
photographer.
You can't eat the flowers. Well, there's some
Whatever.
flowers you can eat, but
Well, I hope it works out, man, because I want to go. It's funny, like as we're planning ours, I'm like, man, I wish I could go to my wedding.
we'll trade. We can have your wedding. You can have ours.
Because I'm like, with like doing all this planning, I'm like, man, I feel like this will be like a lot of fun. And then I just know that we're gonna be like so busy. I'm gonna try to take advantage of your wedding and just go crazy at yours.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna try to do this like COVID compliant, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna have to go crazy at our wedding, we're gonna have to build you like
Bub.
an acrylic box, and like we'll have a tray to slide the alcohol to you.
It'd be like Magneto.
Yeah. Well, so you can't touch anybody. I've always like looked at the wedding in the same way I look at production, because a lot of like event.
It is a
planning-
production.
A lot of event planning crosses the same kind of lines. Like getting the COVID training and all that actually made me think about like, okay, how would like I transfer this to a wedding? And you know, I do want my grandparents to be there,
Oh yeah.
and they're, you know, obviously at risk.
Make them a box too.
And your boxes will be.
Yeah, our boxes will all be next to each other. It'll be like Futurama.
Enough about the weddings.
Yeah. No one cares about our weddings that may or may not happen.
Yeah, you'll find out after the fact.
Yeah.
Big thanks to today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online counseling platform designed to connect you with your own licensed therapist to help you navigate your mental health. I think it's great because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. And when I signed up, I started communicating with someone in less than 48 hours. It's not a crisis line, it's not self-help, it's professional counseling done securely online. You can log into your account anytime, message your counselor, and get timely, thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today, which is why they're giving you a special offer. You can get 10% off your first month by going to betterhelp.com/lunch. That's better, HELP.com/lunch for 10% off your first month. Join over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Okay, let's get back to the episode. It's right over here. Oh, hey, there it is. Let's check it out.
All right, we got some questions from our Patreon. Huge shout out to our care holders on Patreon. Y'all keep us going, especially during this time, so thank you so much.
Growing up, what role did you play in your family?
I have one older sister
Yeah.
who's been on lunch break before. She has 3 kids now, so I have 2 nephews and a niece through her. And she's only 1 year older than me, 1 grade older than me. I would say my role in the family growing up, I was the peacemaker. And that's because I think my sister, and I'm not gonna say this because she doesn't watch lunch breaks anyways. She's too busy, she has 2 kids.
Yeah.
But like, I would say that she was a very typical, like teenage girl in the sense that she had a lot of angst and like, you know, a lot of fight in her. But the thing is, she was a really great student. She was very involved, like straight A's. She ended up being a Regent Scholar, but for some reason at home, yeah, there was like a lot of arguing. And I think I saw the strain that it put on my parents and her, that I tried very hard to not be that. My school grades and everything wasn't that amazing. And I mean, I was still obviously like a teenager, I want to do my own thing, but like when they would start fighting, I would always like get mad at my sister more rather than take her side.
Did you feel any certain pressures in any direction of being like an ally for your sister or like an ally for your parents, or how was that dynamic? Because you kind of said like you would see your sister arguing, but so you would like take your parents' side, right?
Or it's maybe not necessarily side, but just like I would try my best to
Mediate?
yeah. And I would try to keep a very level head despite like all the emotions rising and all the tension rising. I feel like now even thinking about like how I am with like Helen or at both Mofo or even with you guys, it's like, yeah, like that seems to be like the route that I normally or try to take a lot of times.
As you were kind of explaining your situation, I feel like I was the yes child in terms of like,
You're the youngest, right?
I'm the youngest of three. So
3 boys.
yeah, I was always like the follower. Anytime things like needed to be done, I would always be the one to do them. I don't know, we're not like super unfair with each other. Because I was the youngest, it was always like, it seemed like it was my turn to like do things, right? If it's like, oh, go help your grandparents or whatever. Oh, Benson will do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. Who would complain the least doing something?
Oh.
I think that would be it.
Interesting. Wait, sorry, what was the age gap between each of your brothers?
My oldest brother is 5 years older than me, and then the next one is 1 year older than me.
Oh, okay. Is there anything that you do now that your brothers don't do?
The only thing was piano. So like, for some reason, I was the one that was able to not physically pick up a piano, but you know, picked up musically. I don't think my brothers had like the attention span to sit there and like try to figure things out. So, and my mom played piano back in Vietnam, so then it was like a I guess a bonding thing for us.
Oh, that's cute. Did she teach you?
No, we had a teacher, but then like we took lessons together. So like I would have the first lesson, and then she would do the second lesson.
Oh wait, you took lessons with your mom?
Yeah, like she would get the first session, and then she would.
That's so interesting.
So the youngest, I feel, is not raised in the same way as the other two, right? Because they feel like they've already done that with the first two.
Right.
And the youngest has the benefit of looking to the older sibling to be like, oh, like potty train. I think I just learned through watching, right? Like anytime my brother needed to go pee, hey, Benson, you go pee too, right? You know what I mean? So it's like eating, I just look at, you know, oh, what's my brother doing? He's holding the spoon like that. So like, I guess my mom told stories that like I wasn't really like fed, like I just learned how to eat, like just through watching. So like, I feel like a lot of growing up was through just observing and watching.
So as we're wrapping up this date, one thing that I was like looking forward to doing this is that the last time we only sat down just one-on-one, only like a handful of times. And I feel like every time we do sit down, it's always like a Wong Fu checkup. Do you remember this? Like one of the first times we sat down for a one-on-one, like I think it was like only like a few months into like your time here. And like you had like this whole list planned out of like, you had a roadmap for like, this is Wong Fu in like.
That was like a year in.
Was it a year in? Yeah. But still, it was 5 years ago, and you're like, oh, this is our 5-year plan.
Yeah.
This is another checkup. It's like, how are we on your 5-year plan of Wong Fu? What has changed in your vision and view of your job, your time at Wong Fu, and like, and just Wong Fu as a whole?
I'm glad you asked, because I have. That's a good question.
Because we talked for like several hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I think a lot of that is obviously in the context of like where I see my career going. And I think it actually was going pretty close to plan. You know, like being able to bring interns in and train interns and being able to like progressively do bigger projects. And I think that all kind of was going to plan. And I think it still is to an extent. I guess what I realized along the way is that things are obviously going to take longer than you expect, especially when you're working with a bunch of different people.
Right.
And then each person has obviously a different goal in their head. I'm also a player in all of those other people's lives too. You know, and I think I got kind of in my head at that time of like kind of honing in on what my internal goals were.
Yeah.
And I think coming from like the freelance world too, like right before Wong Fu, is that, you know, that's all you can focus on is your
own path,
your individual
Yeah,
path.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you come here, and then you're working day to day. So in the freelance world, you work on a set, you work on a crew, and then you're on the next one. It's a whole group of other
Right.
people. So then I think realizing there's so much more context in like when it was just the 5 of us or the 6 of us, and now the 8 of us, that it's like, oh, what role am I playing in those other aspects?
Now it's like, what role are you playing in this family? You're definitely not the yes man. Now you're the order man.
I guess I'm just getting it all out of my system that like, didn't have a lot of choice as a child. So I'm like, you do it. You do it.
It's funny you say that maybe you had a different mentality back then. Because I do remember in that conversation, I did kind of feel like, oh, this young buck just started here at Wong Fu. Obviously, like we've been doing this for like 10 plus years, and like a part of me was like, okay, slow down. Like, not that I'm saying like I don't believe you or that it's impossible to do what you wanted, but yeah, there's all these moving pieces. So, do you feel like Wong Fu is where you expected it to be?
I think with that question is implying that there was like an end goal.
Okay.
And I think we're still very much in the middle of that journey. So like, it's not like I'm disappointed at where we are now.
Yeah.
It's just like, the goalpost is like getting stretched further, and like, it's frustrating that like just society in general, the way the industry works, it's like the goalpost just gets farther and farther. But like you're still making progress, and there's still a path to get there. It's not like there's things in the way. So that's kind of how I look at this.
I also think it's also just us as creators here. We are always pushing ourselves too. So like even when we did achieve one goalpost, there's actually like further goalposts that we set our sights on. It is like that you will never be satisfied. I think in this industry too, it's like you always want to keep getting that next thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because I would say that actually a lot of the things in that initial plan that you had, like we did achieve.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what your plans were for the 10 years prior or whatever.
I mean, honestly, I think with Wong Fu, what I've learned over the years, even prior to you guys getting here, is that because we are so much at the forefront of this new industry, obviously like entertainment has been around for a long time, but we came in through YouTube, through social media, right? And so there was no one really ahead of us that went through it this way, right? So when people are always like, oh, who are the directors? Who are your inspiration? I was like, there are great filmmakers over there, but like I can never compare myself to them because they did it a completely different way, right? It's that saying like, the first one through the wall always gets their nose broken, right? So it's like, I feel like we're constantly just getting our nose broken and as we're trying new things out.
That's why my nose is so full.
Yeah. Part of our growth has just been being open to adaptation and just knowing that things are always changing. I think what I felt was actually like just happiness that we were building a team of people that cared as much as you did or as they did to make plans and to think about a future. And that said a lot to me that, I was like, okay, like this is someone that I can build with. So yeah.
Like a marriage.
Basically.
So bringing it all back.
Basically.
That's the Wong Fu way, Then we also bring it back to our +1, Irish Chan. Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks, Iris.
Thanks to all our Patreon care holders that are watching.
Well, thanks for this date.
Thanks for this date too.
All right, thanks everyone for watching. It's good to be back here in the lunch break set, but yeah, we'll try to set up more lunch dates with. All right, real life logging off. All right, leave meeting.
Is it off?
Oh God.